Military clashes with Abu Sayyaf's Ajang-ajang group in Patikul, Sulu days after the deadly Jolo Church blast.
Ayon sa pag-aaral ng ating kapulisan, lalo na yung ating Special Investigation Task Group, wala doon sa apat na iyon ang ating hinahanap na alias Kamah.
4 men captured in a security camera during Jolo blast no longer considered by police as persons of interest. And the international community offers assistance to the Philippine government in its war against terrorists in Mindanao. Good evening. The government troops clash with the alleged members of the Ajang-ajang group, which has been tagged as a suspect in the Jolo Church blast. Military offensives are now focused on the area of Patikul, Sulu, and airstrikes have been launched over enemy's camp. Dante Amento explains why.
Members of the Philippine Army 1st Scout Ranger Battalion engaged in an encounter with some members of the Abu Sayyaf group. According to the Armed Forces of the Philippines Western Mindanao Command, the soldiers clashed with the ASG subgroup Ajang-ajang under Hatib Hadjan sa Wadyaan in the municipality of Patikul, Sulu. The firefight lasted for 5 minutes before the enemies retreated. The military believes that the group was with Alias Kamah, the primary suspect in the Jolo Cathedral bombing.
This is after the airstrike we conducted 3 days ago. Tuloy-tuloy ito eh. So it's been 3 days now, ang airstrike doon at saka yung artillery shelling. The same group yan yung may napatay the other day, yung si Omal Usop.
Military offensives are now focused on the area of Patikul, which is a known bailiwick of the bandits. There were no casualties on the side of the government. Authorities, meanwhile, are ongoing with its clearing operations to verify the number of casualties on the enemy's side. The AFP is now holding airstrikes over enemy's camp while ensuring the safety of the civilians.
Because we have a pledge to protect the rights of all Filipinos and all human beings. Pag kami nagkakamali sa amin, kaso abutin namin. And we do not tolerate any collateral damage.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue, Zamboanga City.
The 4 men tagged as persons of interest in the deadly Jolo blast have been released from police custody. Here's why from Leia Ilagan.
The Philippine National Police has cleared all 4 men initially alleged as suspects in the Jolo Cathedral blast on Sunday after they yielded to the PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group on Wednesday to assert their innocence. According to PNP spokesperson, Police Senior Superintendent Bernard Banak, all 4 were released and removed from the PNP's list of persons of interest after a lengthy interrogation yesterday.
Ayon sa pag-aaral ng ating kapulisan, lalo na yung ating Special Investigation Task Group, wala doon sa apat na iyon ang ating hinahanap na alias Kamah.
The authorities, however, confiscated the cellular phone which the student handed to the teachers as seen on the CCTV footage for a forensic examination. The 2 other men said they were supposed to dine in a restaurant near the blast site after days of looking after a patient in a hospital. Following the release of the 4, authorities continue their hot pursuit operations against Alias Kamah in Patikul, Sulu, believed to be the bailiwick of the Ajang-ajang group. Alias Kamah is named the primary suspect in the bloody twin bombings at Mount Carmel Church that killed 21 people, including soldiers and civilians.
Napatay ang isang kamag-anak niya, ang nagngangalang Yusuf. Subalit yung hinihinala nating alias Kamah ay nakatakas.
The joint PNP-AFP investigating team is continuously verifying reports of alleged suicide bombing in the blast.
Ayon sa paunang investigasyon na ginawa ng ating Special Investigation Task Group, nakikitang may posibilidad na ito nga ay suicide bombing dahil sa ngayon walang indikasyon na may crater sa baba. At lumalabas na ang pagsabog ay medyo nakaangat sa baba, no, sa ground. Kaya ito ay posible na paliwanag. Subalit hindi pa rin natin sinasantabi ang iba't ibang anggulo. Patuloy pa rin ang ating investigasyon sa pangyayaring ito.
Meanwhile, the PNP is still awaiting the result of the DNA test conducted on the fragments of human bodies recovered from the blast site, mainly to establish if the person is a Filipino or a foreign national. Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana revealed on Wednesday that some foreign intelligence arm informed the Philippine government about 2 Yemeni suicide bombers who might be responsible in the twin blast in Jolo, Sulu. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Malacanang remains confident that the recent bombings in Jolo, Sulu and Zamboanga City will not defer the second voting for the ratification of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. The palace also says that the Philippines does not need to ask for help from other countries to suppress terrorism in Mindanao. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Days after the deadly blast that occurred in a church in Jolo, Sulu and a mosque in Zamboanga City, other nations have offered to help the Philippine government quell the growing terrorism network in the Mindanao region. Among those who offered assistance are the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States of America, China, and Russia. The offer came after President Rodrigo Duterte declared an all-out war against the terrorist Abu Sayyaf group and other enemies of the state. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, the government welcomes the offered assistance by the international community.
There is no need for any asking for help because they are already offering them those support. Weapons, for instance, intelligence, o di kung yun bibigay sa atin, we will welcome it.
Malacanang is also confident that the recent bombings in parts of Mindanao will not scare residents from casting their votes in the second plebiscite for the ratification of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. The second BOL plebiscite has been scheduled on February 6 in some parts of Lanao del Norte and North Cotabato. The first voting was held last January 21 in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, Isabela City, Basilan, and Cotabato City.
Because nagkaroon ng bomba, takot ng tao. Di ba sabi nila, they're going their normal activity. They're just alert now, and vigilant and cautious, but they will vote.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Philippine government allots millions of pesos annually on the so-called Intelligence Fund. How important is this fund and what are the agencies behind the monitoring of the country's security? Nel Maribok tells us why in this report.
Incidents of crime and disorder have often been reported in different parts of the country. Law enforcement agencies are always in response to resolve and prevent further damages caused by lawless elements. Based on the country's annual budget, the government allocates funds to spend for activities in connection with the implementation of security measures in the country. The money spent here comes from what is called the intelligence and confidential funds. The details of how these are spent are not publicized, but there are guidelines on how to use these funds. Based on a joint circular from the Commission on Audit, the Budget Department, the Department of the Interior and Local Government, the Governance Commission, and the Department of National Defense, the intelligence funds is strictly used in intelligence and counterintelligence activities with direct impact in national security, special projects, case operation plans, programs, projects, and campaigns against lawlessness and lawless elements. These include the monitoring or early detection of threats from terrorist groups. Most government agencies in the country have intelligence fund. Primarily, the Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines have this kind of funding. Even the Office of the President has an intelligence fund which under the 2019 proposed budget amounts to 1.25 billion pesos. There are various units working for intelligence gathering under the Office of the President. In 2010, the Presidential Situation Room was created under the administration of former President Benigno Aquino III. Inside this Situation Room, the Philippine President is given regular briefings with critical pieces of information which have impact on national security. The AFP, PNP, Office of Civil Defense for Disasters, and the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency or NICA are in coordination to brief the President. The government still facing challenges on how to improve and strengthen the system it uses to avert any kind of threats in the country. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Did you know that there are a lot of mobile applications available which can be used for our own personal safety and security? The details in this report.
Brutal crimes happens anywhere, anytime across the world. Walking down the street alone at night could be unsafe nowadays. You might have texted your parents or friends you're coming home, but that might not be enough. Fortunately, your smartphone can do more than just texting in such scenarios. Your smartphone can help prevent mishaps and even inform your loved ones of any untoward situations you might find yourself in. This can all be achieved with the help of personal security apps, one of which is Life 360, a family locator app for both Android and iOS devices. Life 360 is a global positioning system or GPS tracking app that can be used to track or locate anyone within a group or circle that you can create using the app. This mobile phone application also allows you to send a message or a help alert to the members of your circle, informing them of your situation and location real time. Another personal security app is Be Safe, which also allows for GPS tracking. It has a feature called Follow Me Home. Once activated, Follow Me Home provides a way for your guardian to track your real time, giving you a virtual feeling that someone is with you looking after you. Another one good feature of the Be Safe app is the alarm system that automatically sends a message to your guardian, including your current location with audio and video recording. There is also the red panic button, a simplified version of the first two security apps. It is easy to use. Just push the panic button and the app automatically sends text and email messages to your pre-chosen contacts when something untoward happens to you. The Pure Force app is also a great help. This Filipino-made app consists of emergency numbers of the police, the fire department, hospitals, and rescue units, among others. The Pure Force app allows for an immediate report of accidents, illegal parking, fire incidents, and the likes. The Pure Force app can be used exclusively in the Philippines. Another personal security app is the UNTV News and Rescue app. Just download the app and you will be updated with the latest news and happenings inside and outside the Philippines. The app includes a list of contact details of the UNTV News and Rescue that can respond even in emergency situations. Always remember, if technology is used by others for evil things, we must use it to do good and to keep ourselves safe and secure. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
A singing hopeful hailing from Cebu moves to the grand finals after winning the knockout championship or knockout competition in the Wishcovery Season 2. The singer and the song. Leslie Lungbowen tells us why.
The top two Wishcoveries from Camp Top Suzara returned to the iconic Wish 1075 bus for the knockout battle of the Wishcovery Season 2, the singer and the song. These are Nashreen Casas and Winsel Selma. Alessandra Galvez from Camp Junji Marcelo also joined the fray as producers pick. Singer-songwriter Top Suzara praised their performances for this round, but he chose Nashreen Casas to represent his camp to the grand finals.
Happy po na, emotional po. Kasi po, nag-trust po siya sa akin. Ako po yung representative po niya sa Team Top.
Top said he selected Nasreen because he believes that she is more ready to face the tough challenges ahead.
Bagamat lahat sila deserving go through, I picked Nash kasi feeling ko si Nash will be ready to take on the challenges of a production that will command some challenges.
Later tonight, it will be Camp Veni Saturno's top 2 Discoveries' turn to face off in the knockout round. Leslie Lungboman, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News.
But regardless of the motivation of killing, we are condemning it. Whether it's a personal reason or connected with its ideology, we are against it.
Malacanang deplores murder of NDFP consultant Randy Malayao. The Department of Foreign Affairs condoles with the family of a Filipino worker who was executed in Saudi Arabia. And the Filipinos in the U.S. Midwest deal with a record-breaking temperature that experts says are colder than parts of Antarctica. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of Y News. More reasons behind the stories with Angelo Castro III after this quick break. I'm Rheena, Villamor-Camara. Good evening.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up from where Rheena Villamor-Camara left off. I'm Angelo Castro III, and here are the headlines.
And we should contest that because under our law, that's Philippine territory. And if a foreign country will say, we will use this as a rescue center, which they should not do without our approval because that's ours.
Philippine government urged to protest China's alleged opening of a rescue center in the West Philippine Sea. QCPD releases facial composite sketch of one of the suspects in the murder of a village chief in Quezon City. And Filipinos in the U.S. Midwest deal with record-breaking temperatures that are said to be colder than parts of Antarctica. The Quezon City Police District releases the facial composite sketch of a man accused of killing the chief of Barangay Bagong Silangan. Investigators are looking at politics as a possible motive behind the killing. Grace Casin tells us why.
A village chairperson and her driver were killed in an ambush in Quezon City Wednesday morning. Crisel Beng Beltran, the chief of Barangay Bagong Silangan, was on board her vehicle driven by Melchor Salita when unidentified motorcycle-riding gunmen approached them and fired at their vehicle. CCTV footage showed two motorcycle riders following the car of Beltran. One drove away in the intersection while the other remained at Beltran's trail. The victims were rushed to the hospital but both were declared dead on arrival. Police have already released the facial composite sketch of one of the gunmen in Beltran's ambush. The investigators are yet to establish if the incident was election-related as Beltran was running as congresswoman in the 2nd District of Quezon City in May midterm elections.
Dahil napapaloob tayo sa election period, hindi natin isinasantabi na maaring election-related violence, maaari ding drug-related incident at personal na motibo or galit. Marami tayong posibilidad. Kaya isa-isa yan ay pinag-aaralan ngayon ng ating mga investigator.
But one of the barangay officials is convinced that politics is the motive behind Beltran's murder.
Sa sarili kong pananaw, 40-60. 40 lang yung drugs, 60 yung politics.
Beltran was supposed to run against Quezon City Councilor Precious Hipolito Castelo and former Congressmen Dante Liban and Ani Susano. In a statement, incumbent 2nd District Representative Winnie Castelo condemned Beltran's assassination, while Congressional Bet Liban urged the Commission on Elections to include Quezon City among its list of election hotspots. Quezon City government has announced a 3 million peso reward for anyone who can provide information that will lead to the arrest of the killers of Beltran.
So inaasahan natin na sa mga susunod na oras o araw magkakaroon to ng linaw.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The National Democratic Front of the Philippines condemns the murder of its consultant, Randy Malayao, calling it an indication of an escalating attack against peace negotiators. The Commission on Human Rights, meanwhile, questions the timing of Malayao's slay. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Authorities are investigating the case of Randy Felix Malayao, a consultant of the National Democratic Front of the Philippines, who was murdered on Wednesday while on board a passenger bus in Nueva Vizcaya. Based on initial investigation, the bus he was on was parked at the CCQ bus terminal for a stopover in the town of Aritao. Malayao preferred to stay inside the bus while other passengers alighted to take a short meal. The assassin took advantage of the situation to get on the bus and fired at Malayao twice, which eventually caused his death. The suspect immediately escaped the crime scene via a motorcycle.
Maaring ang may gawa nito ay may personal na motibo, mayroong maaring pagiganti dahil makikita doon sa pangyayari na siya ay talagang pinuntahan doon sa kanyang kinalalagyan doon sa bus at malapitan siyang binaril. Kaya kilala siya.
Malayao is an activist and unknown member of the NDFP Peace Panel. NDF's chairperson Fidel Agkawili in a statement said Malayao's murder indicates an escalation of attacks against peace consultants, and such an attack now serves as a further serious obstacle to the resumption of the peace negotiations with the Duterte government. Meanwhile, Commission on Human Rights spokesperson Attorney Jacqueline Andeguia expressed concern on the timing of Malayao's murder. Malacanang has condemned the attack against Malayao.
Regardless of the motivation of killing, we are condemning it, whether it's a personal reason or connected with his ideology. We are against it.
Government Peace Panel Chief Negotiator Secretary Silvestre Bello III meanwhile hopes that peace process will continue between the government and the communist group despite the sudden death of Malayao. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio believes that the Philippines should protest China's reported installation of a maritime rescue center in the West Philippine Sea. But Malacanang says the Philippines should instead be grateful to China if such reports were true. May Bermudez tells us why.
Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio urges the Philippine government to protest in the form of filing a note verbal on China's alleged installation of a maritime rescue center in Cagitingan Reef within the West Philippine Sea. On Tuesday, China's state-run media reported the rescue center would be used to offer better support to navigation and transport safety in the Cagitingan Reef, a part of the contested territory in the West Philippine Sea. The China State Television also said that early warning radars and close proximity weapon systems are already present in Cagitingan. These are aside from other systems that are already present in the artificial islands in the West Philippine Sea.
We should be wary of that because that's an exercise of sovereignty or sovereign rights. That's an exercise of administration, and we should contest that because under our law, that's Philippine territory. And if a foreign country will say, we will use this as a rescue center, which they should not do without our approval.
Carpio also calls on the government to start campaigning to revise the historical claim of China in the said territories.
The government should start a campaign of presenting our view to the rest of the world, including the historical narrative, the real historical narrative, that China had no historical rights or claims to the South China Sea. We should be doing that, but unfortunately, the president has chosen to freeze our enforcement of our ruling.
Asian Maritime Transparency Initiative report indicates that Cagitingan or Fiery Cross is slowly being transformed into an intelligence hub of China. Maritime law expert Professor J. Batong-Bakal says this is a clear manifestation of China's aggressive claiming of the territory and that the Philippines should protest its continued developments and expansion there. If China does not stop its current reclamation projects in the West Philippine Sea, there is no reason for other claimant countries to stop from doing similar activities. But according to Malacanang, the Philippines should instead thank China if it indeed opened a maritime rescue center in the disputed territory.
Maybe we should be thankful. I share the sentiment of Secretary Delphine Lorenzana that could help seamen in distress in that area.
Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, San Juan City.
The Department of Foreign Affairs expressed deep condolences to the family of a Filipina household worker who was executed in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. In a bulletin published on its website, the agency said it regrets not being able to save the 39-year-old Filipina after the Saudi court found her guilty of murder. The DFA said that the Supreme Court Judicial Council stressed that the Filipinas case was one which blood money does not apply under the Sharia law. According to Ambassador Adnan Alonto, the Philippine Embassy has provided her with a lawyer on the duration of the trial. Her family was also informed of regular updates throughout the process. The DFA said the family requested for privacy during their time of bereavement. At least a dozen people were reportedly killed in the U.S. as temperatures fell to a level that is said to be colder than parts of Antarctica. The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs even advised Filipinos in the U.S. to avoid unnecessary travel and exposure to the cold. Chris De Leon will tell us why.
Filipinos in the United States shared experiences as a blast of icy polar air brought dangerously low temperatures to the U.S. Midwest on Wednesday. According to U.S. officials, at least a dozen deaths related to extreme cold weather have been reported since Saturday in Michigan, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Classes in school were canceled for Wednesday and Thursday across the Midwest, including Chicago, and police warned of heightened risk of accidents on icy highways. Temperatures fell to negative 30 degrees Celsius in Chicago, colder than parts of Antarctica. But for our Kasambahays, the polar vortex is still bearable and does not have much of an effect on their day-to-day lives. Filipinos in Chicago carry on with their activities inside the comfort of their own homes, making food and hot beverages. In New York, Filipino stores like this serve as refuge for our fellow Filipinos who are looking for a place to keep them warm. Wearing multiple layers of clothing is recommended to fight off the cold. Usually, people wear about 2 to 4 layers along with a winter hat, gloves, and scarves to keep their bodies warm and avoid frostbite.
No, kailangan pagka may mga ganito talagang polar vortex, kailangan talagang layered yung mga susuot mo, talagang yung halos ang dress up na nga nila o yung tawag na ka-ninja ka na, ninja bonnet, yung halos talagang kita na lang mata. Kasi na yan, dapat covered na rin kasi talagang masakit sa balat yung lamig.
It's best to stay indoors instead of going out, and if you do go out, you have to bundle up a lot and wear a lot of clothes.
The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs has advised Filipinos in the United States to avoid unnecessary travel, limit exposure to the cold, and exercise fire safety. The National Weather Service has warned that frostbite is possible within 10 minutes of being exposed to such extreme temperatures.
First signs of frostbite are pain, can be numbness, tingling. Those types of things are warning signs that you should get inside.
20 million people in the continental U.S. are expected to experience temperatures of negative 28 degrees Celsius or lower by the end of the week. Chris De Leon, UNTV News and Rescue, Chicago, USA.
The Department of Health warns the public anew to keep protected against flu amid the prolonged drop in temperatures in the country. Aiko Miguel explains why.
Influenza or flu is common nowadays as the northeast monsoon or amihan prolongs the cold temperature in the country. Flu differs from common cough and cold since it is accompanied with high fever and muscle pain that lasts for days. According to the Department of Health, flu season starts from the month of October to February. But the DOH warns of the severe effects or complications that flu can cause to the human body, which can be fatal if not immediately attended to.
Binabantayan natin kung ano yung strain at talagang by middle of the year nagbabakuna na tayo. Sa Pilipinas, ang peak talaga ng flu tsaka mga flu-like illnesses itong panahon ng malamig, no?
According to DOH, flu becomes life-threatening when untreated and neglected, for it may lead to health complications.
Maaari siyang mauwi sa pneumonia at of course maaaring in the end makamatay.
In view of the possible outbreak, the DOH reminds the public to keep protected by strengthening the immune system. Take vitamin C shots and more fluids like orange juice and 6 to 8 glasses of water every day. Sleep at least 6 to 8 hours a day and make sure to exercise and eat fruits and vegetables. Make it a habit to wear face masks, especially when in crowded places or when traveling to avoid contracting flu virus.
Pinaka-importante po talaga yung mask para lalo pag ganyan po panahon, marami po nagkakasakit po talaga. Sa akin naman po ay iniingatan ko po yung sarili ko at yung asawa ko po. Sana mo lahat po ng tao magkaroon po talaga ng mask.
Based on DOH records, flu cases in the country has declined this year as compared to the same period last year, considering that the flu strain detected last year was stronger than those being monitored this year.
Naka-worrisome yung flu last year. Kung naalala ninyo, medyo matapang yung flu last year at saka maraming namatay. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas, no, pati sa ibang bansa, sa Amerika, sa Hong Kong. It was a very virulent strain last year.
The World Health Organization noted that the flu has become one of the severe health threats in the world this year. The DOH advises parents to make sure their children get a complete set of vaccination to be well protected. Meanwhile, senior citizens may also avail of free flu shots in barangay health centers and DOH-accredited hospitals. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources advises residents in Talisay, Batangas not to eat fish from Taal Lake that were killed in a phenomenon known as sulfur upwelling. Joan Nano tells us why.
Residents in the town of Talisay are apprehensive about eating fish as more than 50 metric tons of freshwater milkfish and tilapia were killed due to the occurrence of a phenomenon known as sulfur upwelling in Taal Lake. The fish kill, according to the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, has affected 28 fish cages in Barangay Santa Ana, Buco, Caloocan, and Sampaloc in the town of Talisay since late last week. Fish cage owners claim they have already lost more than 6 million pesos in income due to the fish kill. PFAR explained that sulfur upwelling usually occurs when the northeast wind or amihan disturbs the sediments in the lake that leads to the upwelling of a poisonous gas called hydrogen sulfide. Sulfur upwelling gives the lake a bluish-green color, which indicates that the oxygen level in the water has already dropped, making it difficult for fish to survive. The phenomenon usually occurs from November to February each year.
Ang Talik, being a volcano, talagang meron po siyang existing naman po yung sulfur nasa baba. Nagkakaroon ng upwelling pag may mga malakas na hangin, nagkakaroon ng overturn, umaangat yung sulfur.
BFAR encouraged the local government units surrounding Taal Lake to be vigilant and constantly monitor the situation. The agency also advised fish cage owners to harvest their yield before contamination affects them.
Ihanap po ng place. Katulad po ng mga cages natin, ina-adjust po nila, inahanap po nila ng malinaw na tubig at yung maraming oxygen.
BFAR warned that fish affected by sulfur upwelling are not safe for consumption. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue.
Many netizens have lauded the more pleasant-looking coastline of Manila Bay after a massive cleanup drive held by different agencies over the weekend. Let's find out why from this report.
Photos of picturesque Manila Bay have been circulating online as Filipinos as well as foreigners lauded the result of massive cleanup drive held last Sunday. The Manila Bay coastline along Rojas Boulevard now looks more pleasant after tons of garbage were removed from the area. Manila Bay is the country's most famous body of water for its iconic sunset view. The massive cleanup of the Manila Bay has been ordered by the Supreme Court in 2008, but it is just now that the area along Roxas Boulevard is seen to be this clean. This is the result of the collaboration of more than 5,000 individuals from different groups and sectors last Sunday. The significant transformation of Manila Bay has excited many netizens, posting messages of appreciation and gratitude to the Duterte administration for the rehabilitation effort. In Gerson Ona's social media post, he expressed delight over the changes in the Roxas Boulevard coastline and hoped that it will stretch to the entire Manila Bay shoreline. Netizen Juan Miguel Adote, meanwhile, posted an image of a sunset describing it as fascinating. Maricel Mercado on her part compared the amazing Manila Bay view with a creek in Dubai. While MJ Kimbao Reyes expressed happiness and pride over the changes in Manila Bay. In Sean Del Rosario's post, he said Manila Bay can now be considered as a good hangout place. While Cian Estrada said that Manila Bay now looks like Boracay Island. Other netizens also posted videos featuring Manila Bay, captioned with words appreciating the change brought about by the concerted efforts of groups and individuals to restore its beauty. Frima Salonga Gloria, UNTV News and Rescue.
Up next on Y News. A local man dubbed as a hero after saving a girl trapped in the mud in Brazil's deadly dam collapse. And a biker jumps out of a helicopter and onto a skyscraper roof in Dubai. More reasons behind the stories when Y News returns.